Hi, Henny, how are you? It's Teknikolour. I am back with a speed build. It's been quite some time since we've done one of these, but we have another speed build for The Sims 4, and this time we are in San Myshuno, building a penthouse on one Torendi tower. Let's check it out. This build is on the one Torendi tower penthouse lot, and this is for my Generation 6 sim in my Around the World's Legacy Challenge. So Gemma Wyndham, my Generation 6 sim, she is an arts critic, and she moved to San Myshuno after living in Glimmerbrook with her fathers, and she had to start off in a rundown apartment. And this was kind of the first time in a long time that I kind of had to start at like a small amount of money. In my legacy challenge, I have been slowly accumulating quite the fortune, but I wasn't allowed to use it. So Gemma Wyndham had to live in a very rundown apartment, so it was not very nice. And then she upgraded a little bit, actually, to the building next door. And she lived there for a little bit. And then once her son was a little bit older and her father, who was actually our Generation 5 sim, had passed away, only then was she able to afford this penthouse. So she moved in with her other father, Alexander, and her grandmother, who's immortal, Luella Wyndham, my Generation 4 sim, who I cannot say goodbye to. And we came up with this penthouse. I have really been enjoying playing this legacy challenge and building this. Oh, this was a challenge. I didn't really know what to do for a penthouse lot for whatever reason. Okay, this is gonna sound crazy. For whatever reason, you give me a blank lot and I'm like, okay, I can come up with an idea. I can come up with some sort of build, and I'll figure something out, right? I'll make it fit into the world. Totally fine. As soon as you say, okay, here's a lot and you're gonna build on it, you're gonna make a building on top of an existing building, my brain just shuts off. And that's what happened. And I was like, I don't know what to do, like at all. And I asked my boyfriend, who's an actual architect, Cinnabon Andy, I said, can you please help me come up with some floor plans for this penthouse? Because I have no idea what to do. Like legitimately, brain empty, no idea. And he was like, okay, I think I can come up with some ideas. So I kind of just sat him down in The Sims and I said, this is a lot I'm going to be building on. These are my desires. And it was a long list. Because this is actually going to have, let's see, how many Sims? We have Luella. We have Alexander, we have Gemma and Colin, we have Jet, and then I knew I was eventually gonna want a dog, but we had a cat, just a cat at that point. So 6 Sims total, and I knew that there had to be a lot of spaces for each of them. And this is the first time that we were actually able to afford everything that I wanted. And my Twitch chat wasn't like, Tech, are you going a little overboard yet? So this was like kind of the first time that I actually had like my entire laundry list that I wanted for a build, and I was actually able to include all of it, which is just wild to me. But I said, can you please help me come up with a floor plan? Because I was just drawing a blank. I didn't know what to do. And he very graciously said, okay, I'll sit down and I'll try to come up with something. And this is kind of the product of that. I actually was looking up inspiration of my own, and I had stumbled across a builder, Summer Plays. I'm going to link her YouTube video down below that I drew inspiration from. And she actually also built on this lot. And I just fell in love with the living room that Summer Plays had built. Oh, I was like, I need a fireplace like that, and I need it to just be like 2 floors high, and there's got to be like a look down into it, and in some way I just need that. That's what I want for Gemma. That's what Gemma needs, okay? And my boyfriend was like, okay, if y'all could hear the exact laundry list that I gave him, where I was like, okay, it needs this and this. It sounded like one of those HGTV shows where they're like, we are like a beekeeper and a school teacher and our budget is like $80 million and this is everything that we want. That's kind of what it sounded like. And I I was like, okay, so this is everything I want. It has to have it or else. And go crazy. Help me come up with an idea. And somehow he was able to come up with something. So I took inspiration from that Summer Plays build on One Torendi Tower Penthouse, and I'll link that video down below because it's really beautiful. You should go watch it. And my boyfriend actually took inspiration from a real life build. It is called the Harmony Rancho in Southern California, designed by Wallace Cunningham, and it has like this framing device, and you'll understand where that came into play with this. But there's kind of on each side, there's these very thin walls, essentially, that are like open to below. And oh my God, it just looks fantastic. And so that was one of his inspirations, and that was one of my inspirations. And we kind of combined everything, and we just made something that would work for my Sims. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to Andy and also my Twitch chat, because I did build this on my Twitch channel. And they were very helpful, because sometimes I was drawing a blank, especially you're seeing it's taken me a very long time to build this outdoor kitchen. It took a really long time during the stream. My friend Nick actually helped a little bit, and he had he had clipped me just absentmindedly singing along to the Sims theme song, where I'm like, I was like, I'm losing my mind or something like that. I don't know. It was you had to be there, I guess. But I don't know. I was very indecisive with a lot of this build. It was also frustrating because you could see like where I have where I have like the pool and the lounge chairs and all of that. That's kind of where I wanted the pool originally, but somebody else's balcony is under that, so you can't build the pool there. So that was a little rude. So it kind of threw off my whole vibe, but you know, no big deal. It's totally fine. But yeah, this is one of the 2 penthouses in San Myshuno. This is actually in the fashion district, which is not where I expected to live. I figured we would end up living in the arts district because Gemma is an arts critic. And I don't know, this one just appealed to me. This one is a little bit larger than the other penthouse, and it just, I don't know, it was just calling to me. I knew that this was what I needed. And I knew that this would kind of be what the Wyndham family needed. So my whole idea was, with this laundry list. Okay, now bear with me, because this is going to take a little bit. So Gemma Wyndham, she's an artist. She's an arts critic. And her husband, Colin, is also an artist. So I knew that I needed to make a studio space for them. I knew that there needed to be a place where they could just create their art. And I kind of wanted this build to sort of act as a canvas. So I wanted it to be very modern looking. I wanted it to be, I don't know, like it was just asking for color. It was asking for warmth. It was asking for these people to just bring their touch of design to it. And I think that's kind of what we achieved there. And the gallery is meant to be this space that everyone could kind of create in. So at the time, their child, Jet, he was a child and he's now a teenager. And he was basically a teenager as soon as we moved in, but for a little bit of time, he was a fledgling artist as a child, and he had the little toddler kid station where they create on like the little arts and crafts table. We had the 2 easels for his parents, and I thought it was really cute. But also, we had the crystal creations. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear that. There's some dog going absolutely wild outside. But in the Crystal Creation stuff pack, there is the gemology table, and I knew that I needed to create that because this was the first time that we were actually able to charge our crystals again. And previously, from our Generation 4 sim, which is around the time that Crystal Creations was released, we kind of got hooked and we used those crystals a lot. And then we moved into an apartment where we couldn't charge any of the crystals. So Gemma really didn't do anything with crystals. And now we have them back. And I'm trying to wean myself off of them. I'm trying not to use them quite as much, but that's basically that's basically what we got going on. And I knew that I needed that space for Luella as well. Then I knew that there needed to be an office that was kind of like for the family, but mostly going to be like Gemma's area. And I also wanted there to be a gym because Alexander, one of Gemma's fathers, her other father had passed away right before we moved into the penthouse, which is kind of the way we were able to afford it. But Alexander, who was not our sim, he was our heir's husband. He's an athlete. So we knew that we had some extra time with him, like a whole life stage basically, because the active sims get more lifespan. I knew that I needed a gym, and I needed an area that would like kind of like work for everyone. And then pretty quickly I realized he wasn't allowed to go into the gym because otherwise he would work himself, like work out until he would pass away because he was still an elder. And I kind of needed to like watch him very, very carefully so he wouldn't like overtire, because that happened a couple of times and we had to like intervene. Otherwise, it was stressful. Okay. It was stressful. And I was like, oh no. So basically we had the gym that he was no longer allowed in. It's fine. It's fine. We also had a bathroom that was like for everyone. And then the main area that you walk into, basically when you come out of the elevator, there's kind of a little foyer for them. So it's a little separate from like the rest of the building. And then there is a whole kitchen and dining area that also leads out into the backyard, which I'll get into. And there's also the living room with that fireplace that I knew I needed. And then right above that is kind of like the recreation area. Oh my God. Then next to the recreation area is the garden room and the bedrooms on like the left-hand side of the penthouse. But on the right-hand side, there's also the music room, I guess, that's kind of like open to Luella's bedroom. And originally I was going to have this be just Luella's entire wing. She was just going to have this all to herself. And then I was like, but everyone else in the family still kind of likes music, and then she can't play for anyone really. So I decided to have it open, and then at the top of the staircase kind of had that like fake fence and gate. So only she and the pets could get down to her bedroom, but everyone else could get into the music room. And that actually worked out pretty well. I was surprised at how easily that came together. But I had such a good time designing these rooms. I had such a good time designing these rooms. And then the backyard. Oh, because I knew the backyard also needed like that outdoor kitchen. It needed like that outdoor dining area. But I also knew I wanted there to be a pool. I wanted there to be a lounge area. I wanted there to be a place where they could sit by the fire. They could have marshmallows. So we ended up getting a new hot tub. And I built like an entertainment center outside. And it's working well. It looks really good. I like it, and they like it. My Sims are obsessed with this area. They'll sit in the hot tub and they'll watch the TV. They're having the time of their lives. But I don't know. I'm just really impressed with the way that it all came together. I made each person's bedroom. Luella's bedroom is kind of like how it was when she lived in Brindleton Bay, because she was our cats and dogs generation. We needed to create a space that was for Jet, who is Gemma and Colin's son. And I really didn't know anything about him at that point. He was kind of just a child sim. And I was like, I don't know what he's going to be like when he's older, but we're basically going to have to like make his teenage room soon. So I might as well just do that now. And he's kind of going to be a little bit of a player, I think. So Love Struck came out at the perfect time. So we used some of the Love Struck items in there too. And we're going to have fun with this boy, because here's the thing. Here's the thing. This kid Jet, he is going to be our Get Famous Sim, and he is probably not going to end up being liked. This might sound terrible, but I have loved all of my Sims. I've loved all of them. I have liked some more than others, but with this generation, we're not really supposed to like him. At least that's the vibe. That's the vibe that I'm going with. We're not really supposed to like him. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. He's going to be a little bit of a bad boy, and it's going to be fun, because I don't normally play like that. I have seen so many people with their legacy challenges, and it's like, oh, it's fun. There's drama. There's so much going on. And not really the case with mine. Mine is like, oh, they're so happy. It's so cute. Not anymore. So I'm really excited to play with Jet Wyndham. It's going to be very fun. So if you would like to check it out, I do play my Around the World's Legacy Challenge every Tuesday and Thursday morning over on my Twitch channel, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I usually start around 10 a.m. Eastern time. Not sure if that works out for you, but we would love to have you in chat. Also, sometimes I do build on stream. I did build this on stream. Not always, but I don't know. Maybe we will going forward. I feel like people were really into it. And sometimes, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like people weren't as into it. I don't know. But I had such a good time doing this one. And oh my God, we really did a lot with this build. It took over like 24 hours of footage, and that's why some of it is sped up very quickly, because I had to cut this down. This is probably going to be one of my longer videos. So if you are still here, thank you. I really appreciate it. If you wouldn't mind dropping a like, hitting that notification bell, subscribing so you don't miss future videos. We're going to be doing a lot more Sims builds. I know we've kind of stepped away from that, but I just needed a break. I needed a break. In case you want to know more about that. Because our last build was actually my modern Windenburg house, which I loved. And honestly, I feel like that was kind of like the predecessor to this build. And also kind of what I wanted Jet's house to look like. And now I don't know if I can do that. I mean, I might be able to like move that into Del Sol Valley, because Jet's going to be our Get Famous Sim. He's going to live in Del Sol Valley. I don't know. But after I did that build, it was Love Struck. Love Struck released the new expansion pack. Thanks to EA, I was able to check it out in early access. So we had early access for the pack, and we checked that out over on my Twitch channel, and we had a ton of fun. So I posted like the video of my first experience with that, which was unlike a lot of people's experiences, I think. You have to watch it to really know, to really understand. But then I actually posted some things that were not even The Sims related. So I played some Dead by Daylight, which I do occasionally play on stream. And I had some really fun matches with the new 2v8 mode that they had temporarily, which I hope they bring back all the time. But I did some highlights of that. And then I actually had a yearly highlight reel that I do of my clips from that year, like the best moments. And that was because in August, I celebrated 4 years of streaming on Twitch, which I never really expected to do. I never really expected to do it for this long, I guess. But I started out streaming because I had watched other content creators on Twitch, which I didn't really understand live streaming, especially like live game streaming. I didn't really get it. I was like, why would anyone watch that? I didn't understand it at all. And then Animal Crossing New Horizons came out, and I was like, I want to see other people's islands. And there was a content creator that I used to follow all the time. They no longer stream on Twitch, but she would show a lot of her island, iJustine, of YouTube fame. If you don't know who iJustine is, you don't really know YouTube. That's my opinion. And I was like, I could do this. So I made an account and I just started streaming my own Animal Crossing stuff. And then that's actually how I got into The Sims, because my Twitch chat was like, Tech, you will love The Sims 4. How have you never played The Sims? Like you will love this, because it, like, you could do way more than you could in Animal Crossing New Horizons. You'll love it. And I didn't really believe them. I was like, I don't know. I don't really get it. Like, I saw some stuff as I was a kid. It never really appealed to me. Now I'm obsessed. Obsessed. So we had a bunch of clips. We looked at the yearly highlight reel, or I posted it on YouTube, but we did look at it on my anniversary stream, because every year I have 2 celebratory streams, like big streams that I do, that usually end up going for 12 hours each. So I do one for my birthday and I do one for my anniversary. And this past stream for my anniversary, celebrating 4 years on Twitch, was wild. I am still so blown away by the generosity of so many people in my community, but we unlocked every single thing that I had set up, that we went well past that. And I was just like, I don't even know what to create for people. Like I I spent so much time trying to make these streams fun for everyone, because I know not everyone can contribute financially. And since this is like my full-time job as a content creator, it's very difficult to know if you're gonna stay afloat and stuff like that. And this stream was really helpful for me. So if you were there and you contributed in any way, whether it was financial, or you were lurking, or you just came in to say, hi, Kenny, how are you? Or anything like that, you have no idea how much it means to me, because this has become my living, and I did not expect it to be. Because when I started streaming on Twitch, I wasn't in a good mental space. It was the very beginning of the pandemic, or not it was not the beginning of the pandemic, but people were scared. We didn't really know what was going on. It had kind of just come to New York City, and nobody really knew what to do. And my job ended up making everyone remote. And then eventually, even though my department was told nothing was going to happen to any of us, I ended up getting furloughed with the intention of bringing me back. But then, because of business being business, I lost my position. So my position ended up being eliminated, along with a lot of other really talented people in this company. It kind of threw me for a loop, because this was the first time that I had been unemployed in like my life, basically, because I had worked ever since I was in high school, and I didn't know what to do. And I floated some ideas past some friends, some family, my boyfriend, trying to figure out like what I could do in the meantime, thinking I would be getting my job back, because I didn't know that the position would be eliminated. And it took a while to come up with something. And props to iJustine, because she kind of opened my eyes to the joy of streaming online and like online communities like this. And I've made so many friends on Twitch, and specifically in the Sims community, which has always been so welcoming. I don't know. I just said, okay, I don't know, maybe I'll stream on Twitch. I told one of my best friends, and he was like, do it. I've been thinking of it too. And I don't know. It just took off, and I have had so much fun. It's changed my life. I feel like I used to be a very shy person. I could still be kind of shy. Never liked public speaking. I'm total introvert, kind of like an extroverted introvert, I guess. I really have to like warm up to people before I start talking to them. I would never have done something like this. Like, I'm sitting in front of a camera right now, talking to my monitor. Or my webcam, my Logitech Brio up there. That's who I'm talking to. I would love to sit down and have the conversation with you about my build. We could have some coffee. I have some iced tea in my little Ariel glass, because you know I'm a big Little Mermaid fan. This is who I am. We would sit here. We would have snacks. Oh my God, we could talk all day about my Sims, but I would never do that in front of a camera. I would never in a million years would I even think of that. But because of seeing other people do it and being like, well, I play Animal Crossing, I could totally play Animal Crossing and like talk to people. Because I'm losing my mind during the pandemic because we can't leave. Everyone's in their house. Basically, everyone was playing Animal Crossing. I'm like, I don't know what to do. And I just started streaming, and I had the intention of streaming what I liked, which at that point was Animal Crossing, Splatoon, all games like that. And I wanted to be a place that anyone could watch. I figured there could be like somebody who's like my age, or somebody who's even older than them. There could be somebody who's younger. Maybe they're in high school even. Or maybe there's like a mom with her kids and she's home, she's bored, she's watching Animal Crossing, and she's like, I don't know, I want to watch somebody who's fun, but I can also have on in front of my kids. I wanted that. I wanted somebody that I could be for other people who could just bring a little bit of happiness. And I don't know, I always strive to do that. I always try to find people who are in that realm, because at the end of every stream, I always raid out into somebody else's community. And it's not always the same type of people. Sometimes they're mature streamers, so they're really meant for people who are 18 or up, or maybe they're family friendly, or maybe they're like me, kind of like in that weird in between. I don't know. I just try to find people who I think are nice and caring, and that's kind of what we do. And I have had such a rewarding experience streaming on Twitch, and now like making builds like this and making YouTube content, like, which I never expected to do. Well, maybe that's not true, because I used to be, here's a little tidbit about me. I used to be a film student, and I originally thought I was going to make like music videos or like motion graphics. Like what I really wanted to do getting out of college was to do like TV show titles or like introductions to movies, like the opening credits, like that sort of thing. Could not really get a job doing what I wanted or working my way up the ranks in film and television, and struggled to find a job, as I am now. And then I found graphic design, which essentially led me to this. But yeah, I have had the time of my live streaming, and I just had such a wonderful time on my anniversary stream, because I did not expect anywhere near as much love as I received that day. And we did so many fun things. We did some Sims builds. We have people who are actually going to end up in my legacy challenge. They're going to be like friends of my Sims. So real people who have made themselves. We unlocked a bunch of fun streams that we're going to do. Like in the past, I've gotten in drag. In the past, I have dressed up as Scoop Steve, who I have right here on my desk. Because again, I play some Dead by Daylight, and he is one of the characters in there. I don't know, there's gonna be shell challenges. That's something that you're probably very interested in if you are watching this video. I've done some shell challenges before. They were always an unlock, but my Twitch community had unlocked recurring shell challenges, which I was like, this will let me know if people actually want to do them or not. And people were really into it. People have always been into the shell challenges, but I just didn't realize like how much. So we're going to be doing those like occasionally from now on. It's also really fun because I had done another video, which I'm sure you saw, of the balloon compilation, because I am afraid of balloons popping. So naturally, I decided let's pop a lot of balloons for my celebratory stream. So for my birthday, my anniversary, I usually have this chair all decked out with a whole bunch of balloons, all in different colors. And then each of those has like a reward or a punishment for me or whatever in them. So like I've unlocked giving away a Sims pack, or going into cosplay for an hour, or I don't know, like a future like Lego building stream or something like that. And those are always fun. And we unlocked everything in this anniversary stream, including me eating a spoonful of mayo, which sounds as disgusting as you might expect. But it's kind of become this weird thing on my stream where I hate mayo. I've just never liked mayo. Like I will order a BLT in a restaurant, like a bacon, lettuce, and tomato, and say no mayo. And like the wait staff will be like, I want to be dry. And I'm like, no mayo. No mayo. Now when I play games that I've never played before and I don't want people to spoil or like backseat, like be like, oh Tech, have you tried this? Or oh Tech, do this. I have a code word, mayo. So if I say the word mayo, I'm actually asking for help. But otherwise, I'm just rhetorical questions, honey. I don't know. It's just always been interesting. But this build, we are finally nearing the end of this build, and I am so excited to finally release this one to you. So if you haven't been watching my Twitch streams, if you've been excited about seeing Sims builds on this channel again, I'm so excited to start bringing those to you again. But this one, I'm so proud of. This one again was fantastic. I'm really gonna miss living in this one because we didn't spend as much time in this house as my other Sims have. So like each of them, I'll build a house for them and they live in it the entire time. And this time it was 1/3 of the time. But I don't know. We had a really good time with this one. Again, if you want to see the inspiration for this or the rules for my legacy challenge, I'll drop those links down below. But why don't we jump into the game and I can give you a little bit of a tour. So here we are at the Wyndham Penthouse in San Myshuno. Again, this is in the Fashion District at 1 Torendi Tower Penthouse lot. And this is the entire build. So I'll give you a little tour from the beginning, but you come out here of the elevator and then you come directly into the kitchen and dining area. And we have the living room over here. This is Gemma and her son, Jet. And then over here, we have a little outdoor area for the pets. Over on this side, you go out into the exterior backyard space, and we've got the pool and lounge area over here. We also have a full bathroom over here. We have the gym. We have the office space. And we have the studio. All the way on this side, we have Luella's whole suite with her little entryway, her bathroom, and then this is her bedroom. On the second floor, her bedroom continues into the music room, the recreation area, which looks down into the living room. Here is the staircase to get up and down. We have the garden in this room over here. We do have a money tree and a crystal tree. This is Alexander's bedroom and balcony. And we also have Gemma and Colin's bedroom with their own balcony out here. And then this is Jet's bedroom. And this kind of gives you an idea of what his house might look like in the future, which we'll have to build soon because we're getting very close to his generation. But yeah, this is the Wyndham Penthouse. If you do like this build and you would like to see more content like this, I do post Sims builds every Wednesday, or at least I try to. And I also stream pretty much every single day over on my Twitch channel, which I'll drop the link down below, as well as the inspiration for this build. And yeah, have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.